notes to talk about
Well,
it. And to come back.
I had this discussion with Brian Kagoro in South Africa, and I said to Brian Kagoro, look, we have a situation where Zimbabwe is split right down the middle. What do you think should be the solution? We talked about it, and then we essentially agreed that maybe our model of contestation is wrong. You know, winner takes all. Maybe that is what we need to fix. Where if a political party gets 51%, it gets to rule the 51% plus the 49%. Maybe we need to speak in terms of proportional representation of the 49%. But the point is, we cannot say the ruling party must democratize without the opposition on tour. It's a process that both parties have to play a role. Nobody can say the government has to do this while these guys sit on the terraces and watch things happen. It has to be a Zimbabwean effort. So as things stand now, we polarize. Where do we go from here? What efforts are the opposition putting in? What efforts are the ruling party people putting in? We are polarized. We will not get this thing right until we find ourselves as Zimbabweans. Those are my thoughts. You know, we might differ in terms of political party views, but if we do not find ourselves, we'll be caught up in this cul-de-sac where the elections will come in another 5 years and we'll still be exactly where we were 5 years ago.
Thank you very much, Lloyd. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I think it was good to hear a lot of feedback from different views, and I appreciate that, and it can only help us to improve. But I think the direction we need to take is there are two things that we can do as a country. We can either choose to be bitter or to be better. I think we should be better. And how do we become better as a country? I think becoming better is influenced by understanding what we ought to do with our problems, not necessarily what we want to do. And I think the biggest problem amongst us politicians is we normally want to do what we want to do. That's not where the solution. The solution lies in what we ought to do. And I think collectively, we all know the agenda, what we need. And I think if we can all focus, the opposition, the ruling party, the civil society, and everyone, and focus what we ought to do to get Zimbabwe better. Not necessarily what we want specifically to see, but I think the issue is that we are so polarized with individualistic ideas, partisan ideas. We are not focusing on the nationalist agenda. The sooner we focus on it, the better we can be as a nation.
Thank you very much there. Over to you, Dan.
Yes, in terms of civil rights, we're not in 2008. I'm sure the police are beating people up. I don't know if you follow what's happening in fracking in the UK, but people are having their children taken away from them because they're opposing fracking in their area. They're being beaten up by the police. They're having their freedom of movement removed, and this is not being reported. Now, my response to that is not to say the overwhelming problem that this country faces is its civil rights problem. I'm saying, what are the interests behind fracking? Who are the people who are investing in this country who are influencing the decisions that government takes? And this takes me back to my point that, for me, this is, in some ways, the issues for Zimbabwe are about where is the investment going and who's controlling the investment, and where is this debate about are the neoliberal austerity people going to take over and control government, or is there going to be a discussion about that? And is there going to be a real discussion in the face of global climate change about the importance of agriculture? And what is the role of the rural areas in Zimbabwe that have always underpinned the economy in Zimbabwe, where the majority of people live and work, and where that's where the change needs to take place. So I understand that civil rights are an issue, but I think there are much bigger issues about the role of global capital in influencing the kind of government that there is, and what's going to happen to the people in the rural areas. And that's the conversation I'm not seeing happening, and I think that's the conversation that needs to be had.
Thank you very much. Over to you, and do you think there is hope for business after this discussion? Where do you think
there's opportunities. I was going to mention something about the women, like what Alex was talking about. I'll talk about business. Yeah.
Just to round off 1 minute.
Yeah. So I was going to say, to some extent, it's our culture, you know, which sort of like limits what women can do. Most women, especially for some of us who are married, it's very difficult to be going out there, your husband allowing you to be in the forefront, and you know, like if I go to Zimbabwe, my property might be rented by someone, I might need to be in a hotel and everything. So you can imagine what the in-laws will say, you know, other people, they just feel, they just associate you with being, you know, doing other things because so there's so many things that to some extent limit women, and some women who are probably, some companies will say it's best to employ a single woman who's in their 40s because usually the children are grown-ups and they don't have anyone to say, where are you going, what are you doing? So to some extent, that's the reason why I think for you men, the Zimbabwean men, it's important that you also allow your women to do some of these things and allow them to. I've got my husband to some extent is someone, someone who's liberal, and yeah. Anyway, on the business side, like what Marsha has said, I think it's about perseverance. If you continue saying, oh, it's just me who's having problems, I mean, the Strive Masiwas and the Kanakiras have struggled on no matter how the environment has been. So I think there is a future for business.
Thank you very much. And more importantly, Strive Masiwa has said you'd like to see sanctions removed to free up operations in business. Over to you, Alex. How are you going to round up this debate? How do you think it went?
Well,
and, in terms of